What is going on, everyone? It is Elijah back at it again, and coming to you today. I want to talk about Etheria Restart. So, I have pretty much wanted to make sure that I had gathered all my thoughts for this video before I went ahead and I made it, because I wanted this to be my total thoughts about the game, the final beta, the patch notes, how excited I am, and everything that Etheria has been doing so far to make this game one of the better games on the market and to attract a lot of people to play this game. So let's get into it. So to start off, I will talk about the final beta, my impressions of the final beta, what I think of the characters so far, what I think of the gameplay, how I feel as someone playing the game that's not necessarily new to PvP gacha games, but as a primarily PvE player who wants to get into PvP. So to start off, I found out about Etheria through Vulcan. I normally will, watch his videos necessarily to see what other gacha games are coming out. And when he was talking about Etheria, I was interested. I was interested in the technically 5-on-5, but you pre-ban a character and then you can ban a different character. So although you do get 5 people, it's technically 4-on-4 PvP. I was really interested in how the game functioned, how the game looked, how the gameplay was, the skills, the characters, and all that. That's what realistically enthralled me into Etheria at first. So in that time window between watching his video and the final beta, I wanted to know everything there was to know about Etheria. I think that the way that they have marketed this game, the way that they have talked about this game, their hyperlinks, the way they do social media, the Discord, I think that is very, 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 very cool that they are, deep ingrained in the community. Because realistically, a lot of the gacha games that I do play, they don't do that. Like, we'll get a stream every now and again, we'll get some notes every now and again, but the way that Etheria is doing it, I really do enjoy what they're doing. So the final beta for me was a breath of fresh air, and it basically got me interested in gacha games again. For those who don't know, I main Star Rail. I still play it to this day, although I don't play it as much as I used to. But there's a period of time from the first Firefly banner to the second one, where the period in between times, I took a break from Star Rail to find out what other gacha games were out there. So from playing Star Rail for 2 years to going to Etheria, there were a lot of systems, a lot of quality of life changes, and just overall things that Etheria did better that I enjoyed. Continuous combat was one of them, realistically, because I wish that Star Rail had continuous combat when you were farming things. So that was number one, and one of the quality of life changes that I really did enjoy is that continuous combat, throw it on in the background, and you can go ahead and you can do something else while that's going on. And then when it's over with, you click on it, you can do it again, put it in the background, and keep on playing. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. The characters? The characters were impactful in a way to me that everybody is useful. And when I say everybody is useful. You're not just looking at your SSRs. You're not just looking at only them and how good they are, but your R's and SR's make up majority of your team. Yes, you do use SSRs in your team, but your SRs and some of your R's make up the bulk of your damage, and I love that. I love that everybody is useful and that when you pull somebody, you're not just like, oh, this person again. It's, oh, I got Kraken. Oh, I got a Marvel. Oh, I got a Tsukiyomi. I have a Rin. I have a Valerian. Oh, yeah, those guys are really good. It's not like, oh, well, all right. I got another Yang. I got another Sonya. No, like, no, everybody is useful, and that is great. We will go over the patch notes later on in the video, but for the most part, a lot of the characters are very useful. In terms of farming, combat, the layout of the game, the store, the gacha pulls, the packs, how necessarily the game just runs in general, I feel is among the best when it comes to just gacha in general. So a lot of the characters that stood out to me necessarily were Kloss, Kraken, Chiaki the Echo, Dinah, Beyontin, Freya, Linglo, Lily, and Tsukiyomi. So I'll just start with Tsukiyomi, right? So Tsukiyomi is built on defense. So with from my previous knowledge from Star Rail, Aventurine is built on defense. The more defense you have, the better he sustains. But here's the thing. Tsukiyomi is not just a sustainer on defense. She's a turn pusher as well, and she can reduce your skill cooldowns by one turn. So already, Tsukiyomi, in my opinion, I think is better than Aventurine. But I'm going to stop the comparisons to Star Rail and just strictly talk about Etheria from now on. Tsukiyomi, to me, is an underdog in terms of characters because I didn't see a lot of people play her. And when I did see other people play her, they weren't necessarily using her to the fullest of her abilities. And later on, towards the PvP climb, when I was trying to see how far I could go up the ladder, a lot of the times she ended up getting banned. It's because after people started to realize that she was a threat, no, we're just going to ban her so I don't have to deal with her. And that honestly just makes me laugh because, when people underestimate things and then they get ran over like a truck and bulldozed, then they start paying attention to people. And I just found that hilarious. Tiamat, I have very mixed feelings about Tiamat. So a lot of people are like, oh my goodness, Tiamat, Tiamat, Tiamat. For early game progression, yes. To tank in early game, yes. But for me, as the game goes on, you get more people, new characters come out. I don't know. I'm not necessarily on the Tiamat bandwagon. Like, if I end up pulling her, cool. Don't get me wrong, I'll use her, but she's not a character that I am strictly looking for. Like, cool if I get her. If I don't, I don't. It doesn't really bother me. Ling Lo, free healer, best in the game at the current moment. Her heals are unmatched. Basically, in my opinion, if she's not pre-banned or if she's not third pick protected, you are in some trouble if she's on the field if you do not kill her as quickly as possible. Her heals just in general, you're not getting away from them if you don't take care of her. Lily, her twin trick is disgusting if paired with the right character. She is a problem. And also, what I think is that Lily is one of those characters that if you get her early on, you are set. Your account is good. Like you have a good account. If you don't have her, you will be struggling against her, especially in PvP, if the right person knows how to use her. Freya. So Freya for me with her turn push, her nightmare, and her just how she works in general. In early game, speed contesting when it came to Freya, if you didn't have Freya, you weren't going turn one. And depending on who you faced, if they knew what they were doing, you were done in turn two. Or you were basically 3/4 of the way gone turn two if you didn't speed contest her. Gray, very, very, very good damage dealer. A lot of people slept on him. I definitely slept on him. I definitely do plan on building him in the final release, which realistically is in 3 days. And I am so excited. So excited for this game to come out. Heinrich. Heinrich. My dude. Dispeller. Block buffs. Block healing. Oh my goodness. This dude is everything in one. And so for the final beta, I pretty much wanted to see what I would get. So I re-rolled 3 accounts. One with the purchase rebate on it, my main account, and then 2 just to see what I would get. On my second account, I got a Tiamat and a Hellkid, and then on the third account, I got a Heinrich. I didn't play that account because I only got a Heinrich. I didn't get anybody else. So for me, he kind of just stayed there. But from seeing other people use him, he is disgusting. He is good. Like I'm looking for a Heinrich on my main account. Hopefully I get one, but Heinrich is disgusting. Hellkid. Oh my goodness, Hellkid. Whew, this man, awesome. So if you don't pay attention to his kit, you will get screwed. So shield, when he has his shield on, his shroud barrier, he has 100% chance to stun. I'm going to say that again. A 100% chance to stun with shroud barrier. It does not miss. 100%. Pair that with a Tiamat. Pair that with a Tsukiyomi. Pair that with a Lily. It's over. You're done. Leave the game. Hellkid is just a sustainer that I wish I played more on the second account, but after getting to level 20 on my main account and then on the account that had Tiamat and Hellkid, I wanted to specifically see how far I could get on my main. So my playtime with Hellkid was drastically cut, but from the time that I had him, Hellkid was bar none. I really enjoyed him. Let's see. Chlorios, damage wise, haven't got a chance to use him. I ended up getting him on the final day of the beta, so I didn't build him, I didn't use him. His update in the patch notes, I think is going to be disgusting for bosses. We will get into him later on after the game comes out. Kloss. Yes. Kloss was a mainstay in my account. With her speed reduce, her damage amping, and overall just her kit in general, Kloss was a big hitter on my account. And I'm kind of sad that the speed down, is getting taken out of her kit. Like, don't get me wrong, she can still speed down, but it's not a percentage anymore in her other two skills. It's just a flat now. And so for me, I didn't get into PvP climbing until after the first week of the game. And a couple matches, I'd say like the 5 or 6 matches that I played trying to understand PvP, people had cloths. And I was not aware how damaging Klaus was if paired in the right team until it was done to me. Speed down, damage up, paired with a Dyna, paired with a Rahu. Oh my goodness! Like before you even blink, the game is over. If done properly. Kraken, Kraken the boy. His CC, disgusting. Overall, he's still going to be a threat with the patch notes. He's still going to be a threat either way. We'll talk about that later. I would have to say that M is overrated. Glass Cannon, more of a damage person. Was I scared of him at first? Yeah, but once you understand that he's just a glass cannon and that if you kill him first round, you don't have to worry about him and you don't have to waste a ban on him. You just have to basically know that people are going to play him, people are going to abuse his S3, and with cooldown reduction, people are still going to spam his S3, and you're just going to have to live with it. There is no getting around M, and you're just going to have to deal with it. End of story. Rahu. I got him 3 days before the beta ended, and Rahu does work. Absolute work. I cannot be more happy with his character, and I hope I get him on my main account. Ramoka. Good for Doki Doki. I haven't used her. Sounds pretty good, but other than that, I can't really say much more than that. Rosa. Whew. Whew. All I gotta say. If you know, you know. Alright, so with the kicks out of the way, and how I necessarily felt with the final beta. The final beta to me was everything that I've looked for in a gacha game, just on how the gameplay was, how everything was just put together. I can say that the progression grind, it does slow down at 13 to me when you're trying to get to 20. A lot of your time is going to be spent, grinding for experience or grinding for shells or grinding for gear and stuff like that. I do hope that they touch on that, the experience grind from 13 to 20. If they don't, they don't. But hey, it'd be nice to see if that gets updated. All right. So patch notes. I looked over these a little bit earlier. I kind of scanned through to see what really is going on, but we're necessarily going to go over the patch notes. Mio, new character, CC oriented. I did watch the Hyper Talk where they talked about, at her and the other character. And this is what I'm talking about. Like, with the whole dupes in PvP, it took them 48 hours to respond to that. I have never seen a gacha game and its community get news on something that quick. Ever. I remember when the whole aventuring thing happened and that his skill was bugged, and we still haven't heard anything about that. We don't know if it's fixed or not or whatever the case may be. But with Etheria, in 48 hours. Oh yeah, by the way, yes, so dupes are active in RTA, but we're going to make it to where you can get dupes for your characters. So even though that dupes are active in RTA, we are going to make it possible for you to get dupes for your characters so it does not become an issue. Like, are you kidding me? Like, this is what I'm talking about. Etheria is going to be a game on the market that changes a lot of things, and people are going to be set off guard with that because of the communication, because of how the game wants you, not how the game wants you, but how the game is going to thrive with everything that they're doing. In terms of character design, I do like Mio. It's cool that she's being added to the permanent summon pool, so you do have a chance to get her. I will save my thoughts for her after I get some playtime with her. But just from the hyper talk, I do think that Mio is going to be a good character. But we will talk about that later. In terms of the SR, Mizuki Makato looks cool. Dispeller, counterattacks, two things that I enjoy, two things that I think would be great. So we'll necessarily see how she works out. Cool design and everything. In terms of United Front, I think that Guild versus Guild is going to be fun. I think that Guild versus Guild is going to be another one of those things that I think is going to be really fleshed out in this game. We don't know a whole bunch about Guild versus Guild besides what they told us in the patch notes and what they told us in other things. When it comes to Guild versus Guild, I will try my best to get into a guild. I do know that in the more higher guilds, I should say, the more people who take guilds seriously, I think that United Front is going to be very, very, very serious in terms of, the guilds that want to be the best guild in Etheria. In terms of all the bases and stuff that you can go around and raid, I think that is going to be a lot of fun. I kind of can compare. I can't really compare this to Guild Wars and Epic 7 because although I did ladder climb in Epic 7, I didn't do it as hard as I wanted to do it in Etheria for a couple reasons. Number one, Epic 7 has been out for 7 years. I have basically missed 7 years of playtime. I don't have a whole bunch of characters, and for me, getting those characters is really expensive in Epic 7 because their monetization, in my eyes, compared to other gacha games, is expensive for me. So that's kind of a couple of different reasons why, although I like Epic 7 and will play Epic 7, I won't take Epic 7 as seriously as I'll take Etheria. No shame. Like I said, this entire video is my opinion. You don't have to agree with me. You don't have to understand where I'm coming from. This is just me putting my opinions out there. Shell story. This reminds me of the yearly activity that we get in Star Rail, where we pretty much go around and make as much money as possible and get other things. This reminds me of that. I do see that you do get some pulls on there, some gems from there. I'm not entirely sure what these are per se, but the game does look fun. So you do have dice rolls and stuff like that. So this definitely will be one of those games I will look forward to playing. Oh, Revelation Wish Orb. Collect wish orbs to make a wish for amazing rewards. Okay, so that's what they are then. Okay, that's cool. Let's see. Prismatic Wish Machine. Wish time is here. Draw exclusive Chakra Ring outfits at the Prismatic Wish Machine. Use prismatic chips to draw Chakra Ring outfits with hidden grand prizes awaiting you. Okay. All right. I'm excited for that. Ends in 583 days. Hot. Holy moly. 583 days? Wow. So as we all know, the the pull rates have been reduced from 100 to 80, which I think is beautiful, by the way. Pull history cannot be filtered to reveal all pulls or current pull records, which I think is awesome. It also did say that the hyperlink summons records were not refreshing in real time, so that's good to know that you can filter them all to certain ones or it all together. And that's also another thing. I know that some games like ZZZ has it to where it tells you how much you need to, how much more you need to pull on that. I just wish that that was just all across the board for all gacha games. That just told you, hey, you have 40 more pulls to go before you get, you know, an SSR per se. And before I go forward, I just want to say that Etheria not having a 50-50 is one of the best things ever in this game. It is a guaranteed 100% you're getting that character on a featured banner, which I think is beautiful, by the way. And that's one of the main reasons why I took a break from Star Rail, is because I lost 6 50-50s back to back. I lost the first Firefly. Okay, I took that one to the chin. I pulled again, got Firefly, E0. Okay. My main goal was to get E2 Firefly, right? So E1 was guaranteed because I lost on E0. I then went to go pull for E2, lost that. That's 2 50-50s lost. I went to go and pull for the light cone. I lost. So now losing 3 50-50s, I just stopped playing Star Rail. I come back. I pull for Rappa. I lose Rappa. That's 4 50-50s. I went to go pull for her light cone. I lose. Well, that's a guaranteed. So boom. Okay. Now, mind you, this is not an order. I'm just letting you know the 50-50s that I lost. Pulled for Sunday. Lost. That's now 5 50-50s lost. Pulled for his light cone. Lost. That's 6 50-50s lost. So in a span of 3 characters, I lost 6 times. And I lost it. I literally lost myself. So the fact that Etheria has no 50-50 is just beautiful to me. And I love it. I adore it. Thank you. And I appreciate it. And also the fact that on the permanent summon, everything is put together. So there's a chance that you can get an LD unit. There's a chance that you can get a standard SSR, or basically anyone, which is honestly a big W. And I am so glad that Etheria is doing this. In words of now, necessarily, it doesn't matter necessarily, because technically you can't lose now. It's just more of a, hey, you got a Tiamat, or hey, you have a Born, or hey, you have a Mio. Like, I just think that is just fantastic. All right, moving on. So for the rebates, added Hydra voucher as purchasable item, allowing you to buy sufficient vouchers. Cool, awesome. So this is what I thought was big. Added region protection period. So for the first 15 days after launch. So for the first 15 days starting June 5th, you only match with people in your same region, which I think is fantastic. Because depending on how far you grind and how dedicated to the grind you are, you will only play people in your region, which I think is fantastic. After the first 15 days, everything is all good as glory, and you match with who you match with. I think this is great. So, ban protection mechanism for Summit, where both players. So, basically, you're not gonna see a pre-ban and third pick uh ban protected unless you're in Diamond 1, which makes sense to me. That really does make sense to me because why would it be under Diamond? I did I did kind of find that weird that it wasn't in the final beta, but at the same time, it's not going to be in launch, which I think is cool. Infinity Train, I don't really have much knowledge in because when I went to go and play Infinity Train, it was just trying to understand what it was, and I was going back and forth between different game modes to see how everything played out. So I don't really have much info on that for you. Language selection, okay. Clearance time, which is good. Sharing function, okay. So you can share when you get your first SSR, which is cool. Okay. So there's going to be some things I'm going to be pointing out in the patch notes. I'm not going to read all of the patch notes, but just things that really stand out. If you do want to read the patch notes, I will leave the link in the description of this video. Okay, so down to the patch notes for the characters. So for Chloros, right, deals 400% to 480%, right? So if I'm reading this right, it's 400 to 480% damage to a single enemy and applies Doom Toll each time. Each time Doom's Resurge is cast, the skill damage output permanently increases by an additional 25%, which is nuts, by the way, to a maximum of 100%. If the skill kills the target, this target cannot be revived, which is huge. If you manage to pull this off and kill a Tiamat, or you kill a Lily, you kill a Ling Wo, you kill a Sonya, and they can't be revived, they're done. They're off the field for the entire match. You can't bring them back. So especially if someone rolls up with a Ling Wo, a Sonya, right? You kill a Ling Wo, the Sonya can't bring them back. So now when you take the Sonya out, not only don't have any healing, and you out damage them, and you win. Veronica deals 420% damage to a single enemy with an 80% chance to steal all the target's buffs. Then has a 50% to 100%, which is huge, by the way. 100% chance to spread all of the buffs to her allies, which is huge because I understand that in the final beta, it was no longer 100%. It was the 50% chance to necessarily figure that out. So that's why she wasn't necessarily really used on that much. But now that it's 100% chance, well, technically, an 80% chance to steal all the target's buffs, then has a 100% chance to spread all the buffs, which I think is huge. So Mia, her skill cooldown got reduced by 1 turn from 5 to 4, which skill cooldowns, honestly, I think in my opinion, you can't go wrong with skill cooldowns. So heals all allies from 25% to 30%, which is okay. Skipping Tiamat, Rahu deals damage to a single enemy equal to from 320% to 350% of his defense, with a 60% chance to apply defense down for 1 turn. If you had Dinah and Klaus and Rahu and you pair them together with erosion, defense down, and then Klaus's damage down and speed down, oh my goodness, you were in for a rude awakening if you were able to first win the speed contest, because the immunity gear wasn't widely available until the last week. People had farmed basically until that time. You could basically get everybody on the opposite team down to 3/4 health, and then just take the next turn wiping them all out. So his passive effect, Wrathful Form, each stack increases his defense from 4 to 5%, which is honestly up to a 12 stacks. It cannot be dispelled. An extra percent there, although it doesn't seem like a whole bunch, but 1% can do a lot. And then at 8 stacks, for every 4 defense higher than the target, his basic attack damage increases by 1% to a maximum of 40 from 30, which also is big. The reason why I say that Ling Lo is such a great healer and that she is bar none to everybody is that 65% chance before it got changed to 75% chance to purify one debuff. And then if the target has no debuffs, has a 75% chance to apply a well prayer, right? So just think about it, right? There is a shell out there that can cleanse you, right? Chance to purify on Linguel, so that's now 2 chances, and also heals you. So now you got 2 chances to purify debuffs and heal you. Linguel is disgusting. Born, he had his HP increased from 5 to 560 of his attack, and adds damage equal to 30% of his maximum HP. I think that over time, Born is going to be a more of a threat later on. Not too many people are going to utilize him in early game or mid game, I believe. I think that the longer the game goes on, the more he starts getting good pieces and shells, the more threat that he will be. But at this current moment, I'm not entirely too sure how threatening Born is. When you look at his kit, when 4 more enemy units are alive, deals, well, at this current time right now, 480% AoE damage to all enemies with 100% chance to dispel 1 buff from each person. When you look at that on paper, you're like, damn, that's gnarly. That's good. That's really good. But in actual gameplay, especially in PvP, it may seem like 440% was a lot of damage, but realistically, depending on who you brought to your team, it tickled you. And it definitely did tickle my team a couple times. So I'm not entirely too sure how damaging Born will be, but we'll definitely see that later on. So Kloss, this is the one that hurt me the most. So the reason why I thought Kloss was so vital, if paired with Rahu and if paired with Dinah, that increases the damage you take by 5%, reduces the damage dealt to you by 10%, and lowers your speed by 4% up to a maximum of 3 stacks. So now the lowers per speed by 4% has been taken out of her kit, right? Okay. Hack-in cannot be inflicted with hacking progress. Increases your damage taken by 25%, reduces your damage dealt by 40%, and lowers your speed by 20%. So both her skill 1, right, in both parts have been taken, the speed has been taken out. So although her speed has been taken out, Kloss is still going to be very good in teams. It's just kind of sucks that the speed down by 4% and 20% has been taken out. So Dual Thorn Dinah. Deals 240% to a single enemy with a 40% chance to steal turn meter. By 25% has been reduced to 15%. I mean, 10% is kind of big. We'll necessarily have to see how that plays out damage wise and PvP wise. But Dino was a very, very, very big threat that people didn't really pay attention to. And then Kraken deals 240% AoE damage to all enemies which was a 75%, so 65% chance to push back the target's turn meter by 35, which has now gone to 30, and a 50% chance, not 60, chance to apply freeze for one turn. Okay, so 10% both places, 65% chance to push back the target, and a 50% chance to freeze. But they did say that your accuracy can boost this, and that your accuracy is not just fallen by the wayside. So especially with Viper built correctly can AoE strip you 100%. So looking at all these numbers here right now, although it does look bad having a 10% less chance, built with accuracy, you can really do some damage. So although these not buffs, but nerfs do look kind of sad, with the right amount of accuracy, you can definitely get these back to the numbers that you definitely want, or numbers that you want to be there. So Marvel. So I agree with the sentiment that although Marvel was a huge wall, I guess you could kind of say, in PvP, I don't think he needs to be nerfed in any way, because if he's good in PvP, he'll be good in PvE. And you need him to be good in PvE so bosses can't take a turn. So looking at this right here, 240% damage to a single enemy. It was 50, it's now to 40 with a chance to steal turn meter. It was 25 down to 15. So not necessarily that bad. So S3, right? 100% chance to apply speed down and res down, which has been the norm. 60% chance to push back the target's turn meter. It was 50, it's now 40. But here's the big one. His skill cooldown increased by 1 turn. So it was 4, it's now 5. So that's pretty big, because a lot of people have built him around the fact that you could reduce his skill cooldown from 4 to 3 turns. Now that it's 5, people are going to have to rework their math, and I'll be interested to see how they work with this. Victor. So Victor, for me, I didn't use Victor. I slept on Victor, but let's see what they did to the boy. For every 10% of HP loss increases damage dealt by 15%. They got changed to 9. Okay. And reduces damage taken by 6%. Okay. Face an issue where Puppet's Fury could stack multiple shields. Interesting. Okay. Number 41. Big, huge boon in the game. If you didn't pay attention to number 41, you missed out. So, for me, when the beta ended, I ended at 31. But realistically, if I would have just stayed on my main, I would have hit 55. Because realistically, I got to 20 on my main. I got to 20 on my second. So that's 40. I ended at 35. So if I would have put those 20 levels into my main, I would have ended at 55. Technically, yeah, 55. So there was a lot of shells, a lot of gear that I didn't physically see or knew about because I wasn't at that level to even know it existed. Like Ethernet Rally opened at 40. Immunity Gear opened around that time. Um, and then all the other shells that were really, really, really good, they weren't available at level 30. So White Fang, after the mid body axe, it performs a follow up attack on the primary target, dealing 2 instances of 140. So that got changed to 110. Okay. If a crit occurs, it increases the main body's enemy's crit damage by 6, up to a maximum of 10 stacks. Okay. Okay. Artisan. Before the main body axe, it increases its defense by 700 and then applies a shield from 4. It was 440. It's now 400 of its own defense to the main body and any enemy's ally with the lowest current HP for 2 turns. Okay. And also, it cannot stack with similar effects by other shells. Okay. Codex of Magic. Skills cannot have their cooldown reduced. Okay. Same thing for Amber. Okay. Halloween. Fix an issue with incorrect trigger actual trigger probability. Okay. Twilight Night. It was 200. That's changed to 160 to the enemy with the lowest HP and further reduces their defense by 60%. Okay. Diamond Heart. Increases its defense by 550 and applies a shield. It was 360 down to 300 of its own defense, and it ends with the lowest current for 2 turns. Okay. So also cannot stack with. Okay. So they're really making sure that you know you cannot stack this. Okay. Like I said, arena stuff, Grand Pursuit Threshold, all that stuff right there. Ember Trek, Champion's Call, Infinity Train, Ethernet Rally, Union. So that's about it. So overall, with the patch notes and how everything has come together so far, I am really excited for Etheria. I'm really excited for everything to come to plan, everything to work out. I am very excited for this game. And on June 5th, just like everybody else, I will be grinding it out. So if you made it to the end of this video, I want to thank you for taking the time out to watch the video, to hear this video with me. Let me know your comments, your thoughts. Let me know what you think about Etheria. And I will see you in the next one. Love, peace, and see you guys in the next one.